Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to look at the mystery of the 1973 S silver Eisenhower dollar, and is one of these Eisenhower dollars that's worth $17,250. And it's hard to figure out why. Let's go through a few possibilities and talk about it, and then let's look at that dollar. The Eisenhower dollar first came out in 1971. Between 1971 and 1972, the U.S. Mint struck 282 million. So there's 282 million 71 or 72 Eisenhower dollars out there. Midway through 1972, they realized that nobody was taking these dollars from the banks, nobody was using them, and merchants didn't want to put them in their cash register. So for the 1973 Eisenhower dollar, they only made 2 million at Denver, 2 million at Philadelphia, and 2.7 million at San Francisco of the clad variety and 1 million silver San Francisco proof varieties. Instead of making about 140 million that year, they made about 7.7 million total. Of those 7.7 million, 4 million of those were put into the United States Mint sets, 2 million Ds and 2 million no mint mark Phillies. 3.7 million were put into proof sets or were the silver dollars. And they didn't even sell all of those. They had to destroy 250,000 mint sets because they couldn't sell them. Now the mystery is that there's a 1973 S Eisenhower dollar, which means it's a San Francisco mint proof, that's sold for $17,250. So we'll look at the clad S coins, like this one here. We'll look at the silver S Eisenhower dollars like this one here. And then we're going to look at the Philadelphia Eisenhower with no mint mark and the 1973 Denver Eisenhower dollar with the D mint mark. All right, let's start by talking about that specialty coin. They first started making the Eisenhower dollar in 1971. But if you wanted a proof coin, in 1971 and 1972, you had to special order them from the mint, and they came in these brown envelopes or holders, the so-called brown Ikes. In 1973, they actually came out with a proof set, a clad proof set, in which they put in the Eisenhower dollars. So from 1973 on, they were in the proof sets. They also made a silver version of the Eisenhower dollar. In that silver version, you had to buy separately. There were no silver mint sets. You had to special order the silver Ikes from the mint also. So in 2008, Heritage Auctions sold a 1973 San Francisco Mint S proof coin, which was made of silver, for $17,250. Let's take a look at it. And here's that coin on the Heritage Auctions website. And if we look at it closely, we can see exactly why it might be worth a lot of money. And it's because it is a double struck with 2 off-center broad strikes. Proof 65 Ultra Cameo. And you can see January 10th, 2008, it sold for $17,250. And that's just an amazing coin. And here's the back of that coin. You can see the doubles on the $1. So the front and the back had the double broad strike on it. Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, we call that NGC, and they grade it as 40% off-struck, double-struck, broad-struck. But to go back to it one more time, this is where the mystery is going to come in. The next mystery is going to come in, and that's this right down here. What exactly does that number say? Let's take a look at it. Okay, so we looked at that coin, and it's actually really hard to tell what year it's from. So how were they able to determine what year it was from? One of the things we know about the Eisenhower dollars is that they only made them in 7 different years. And those years were 1971, 1972, 1973, 1974. 1975, they didn't make any Eisenhower dollars. 1976, 1977, and 1978. So if we look at this picture right here, are there any of those years that we can automatically rule out? Well, that's clearly a rounded top. So it can't be the 1971, because 1971 doesn't have a rounded top on it. It can't be the 1974. It doesn't have a rounded top on it. It can't be the 1976 because 1976 was a bicentennial coin, and so it doesn't even have the same date signature on it. So if we cross out 1971, 1974, we can cross out 1976 because that was a bicentennial year. It can't be the 1977 either because the 1977 doesn't have the rounded top on it. How about 1978? That's a possibility. 1978 is a possibility, but it doesn't look quite right because the top has a small 8 on the top. So 1978 just doesn't quite work for us. It's close, but it can't be the 78. And so could it be the 72 or the 73? For the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, this is one of the years that they made about 100 plus million of them. They really did them quick. And so it turns out that if you look at these islands, so 1972, and then if you look at the islands from the 1973, you'll see that the islands on the 73 are both much sharper and actually in a different spot. We know from looking at the back of the one that NGC graded that the islands are directly underneath the US. It can't be the 1972 with the islands over to the side. And so now we can cross out the 1972. So now that we know it's a 1973, somebody saw it at the auction in 2008 and said, I'll give $17,250 for it. Currently, the best 1973 San Francisco Mint silver dollar goes for about $1,350, and the best San Francisco Mint clad dollar goes for $3,250. So solving that mystery really helped out the coin's value. Well, if that's what the San Francisco Mint coins go for, what do the other coins go for? Well, the Philadelphia Mint Eisenhower dollar, but let's look at the back of it now. United States of America, $1, e pluribus unum. Eagle landing on the moon holding an olive branch. And of course, it's a clad coin, which means it's a copper nickel outside, fully copper inside. They made $2 million. The auction record is $7,638 at the Denver Mint. And you see this one looks really, really shiny. Well, you see this one doesn't look so shiny. And this one looks really shiny. That's because somebody actually took this out of the mint set. And I found it in the circulating dollars because it was only worth a couple bucks because it wasn't in great shape. This one here actually came out from the mint set directly. So at the Denver Mint, they made $2 million. Auction record is $12,900. All right, thanks for watching DC Cornwall International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have in the comment section.